Chosen one, sit down. No, actually, stand up first. Look at yourself. Now sit down and listen to me, because I need your full attention for what I'm about to tell you. Something cracked open in the spiritual realm about 12 hours ago. Maybe you felt it. Maybe you woke up different. Maybe you looked in the mirror this morning and something behind your eyes finally said enough. This is the most important message I have ever delivered. I'm not saying that to be dramatic. I'm saying it because the energy coming through right now is unlike anything I've encountered before. You clicked on this for a reason. You found this at the exact moment you needed to find it. And what I'm about to tell you is going to change everything. Here's the twist that nobody saw coming. While you've been hiding, while you've been shrinking, while you've been convincing yourself that maybe this is just your life now, the universe has been setting up something so massive that people are going to be on the floor when they see what happens next. There is no ignoring you in this era. I don't care how invisible you felt. I don't care how overlooked you've been. That chapter is closing so fast it's going to make your head spin. Think of it like this. You've been a lion living in a cage, and someone convinced you that you were a house cat. You've been pacing back and forth in that tiny space, eating the small meals they gave you, grateful for scraps. But today, chosen one, someone just handed you the key, and you're about to remember what you actually are. Let me paint you a picture of where you've been, because I need you to understand that I see you. I see what you've been carrying. You've been walking around for the last 7 months, maybe longer, feeling like something was fundamentally wrong. Not wrong in a way you could explain. Not wrong in a way a doctor could diagnose or a friend could understand. Just this constant pressure, this heaviness, like someone tied weights to your ankles, and you've been trying to run a race that everyone else seems to breeze through. You've been looking at your body and wondering what happened. You've been looking at your bank account and feeling that familiar knot in your stomach. You've been looking at your relationships and asking yourself if this is really it, if this is really what you signed up for. And the answer that kept coming back was maybe. Maybe this is just your life. Maybe you peaked already. Maybe the good stuff happened to other people and you just have to make peace with average. I need you to hear me when I say this. That voice was not yours. That heaviness was not natural. Something has been feeding off of you. Something dark latched onto your light and has been draining you dry. And you, with your ridiculous tolerance for pain, you just kept going. You just kept pushing. You just kept showing up, even when showing up felt like dragging your body through cement. Most people would have collapsed under what you've been carrying. I mean that. 2 days of what you've endured would break the average person, but you're not average. You never were, and that's exactly why they targeted you in the first place. See, there's a reason chosen ones get attacked harder than everyone else. There's a reason your path has been filled with more obstacles, more betrayal, more confusion. It's not because you did something wrong. It's not because you're being punished. It's because what's inside of you terrifies the darkness. Your light, your potential, your destiny. It's so bright that the only way to stop you was to make you forget who you are. And it almost worked. I won't lie to you. It almost worked. You almost believed the lie. You almost accepted the counterfeit life they were trying to sell you. But something in you refused to die. Something in you kept whispering that this wasn't it, that there was more, that you were made for something bigger than surviving. That whisper is about to become a roar. Let me tell you what's happening right now, because this is where it gets good. This is where everything shifts. You are entering what I can only describe as a mega makeover time machine. I know that sounds wild. I know that sounds almost too good to be true. But within the next 7 to 10 days, you are going to transform so dramatically that people who know you won't recognize you. And I don't just mean physically, I mean energetically, spiritually, financially, relationally. Every single area of your life is about to level up in ways that will leave you speechless. The pressure you've been feeling, that balloon sensation where you felt like you were about to pop, it's starting to deflate. Right now, as you're reading this, the tension is releasing, the weight is lifting, and what's replacing it is clarity. Pure, crystalline clarity about exactly what needs to happen and exactly how to make it happen. Here's what they didn't want you to know. The solutions to your problems are simpler than you've been told. So much simpler. You've been paying doctors and therapists and experts and coaches. You've been buying supplements and programs and courses. You've been doing everything everyone told you to do. And somehow you're still stuck, still struggling, still frustrated. That wasn't because you weren't trying hard enough. That wasn't because you're broken or defective or incapable. It was because you didn't have the right key. The locks got changed and nobody gave you the new combination. So you kept trying the old methods, wondering why nothing was working, wondering if you were the problem. You were never the problem. You just didn't have the right information, and that's about to change dramatically. I'm going to get specific here, because I want you to know that this message is for you, specifically you, not some general audience, not some vague collective. You. Something has been going on in your body. Maybe it's inflammation, maybe it's bloating, maybe it's digestive issues that seem to appear out of nowhere, maybe it's breathing problems where you feel like you can't get a full breath, maybe it's fatigue that coffee can't touch. Whatever it is, it's been affecting everything else, because when your body feels off, your confidence drops. When your confidence drops, your relationships suffer. When your relationships suffer, your finances take a hit. It's all connected. And here's what Spirit is showing me. A lot of what you're experiencing is connected to how you've been breathing. I know that sounds too simple. I know your brain is probably saying that can't be right, but stay with me. If you sit a lot, whether that's at a desk or in a car or both, your diaphragm starts to compress. When your diaphragm compresses, everything in that area gets affected. Your digestion slows down, your breathing becomes shallow, your body starts holding on to things it should be releasing, and suddenly you're dealing with symptoms that seem unrelated, but all trace back to the same root cause. Within the next 24 hours, you're going to start getting answers, real answers, simple answers, the kind of answers that make you say, why didn't anyone tell me this before? And as you implement these solutions, you're going to watch your body transform, you're going to watch the bloating reduce, you're going to watch your energy return, you're going to watch yourself start fitting into clothes you'd written off as belonging to a past version of you. But it's not just your body, it's everything. Let me talk about the relationships in your life, because I know there's someone who's been talking to you crazy, someone who's been making you feel small, someone who's been treating you like you should be grateful they even give you the time of day, and you've been accepting it, not because you think you deserve it, but because you were too tired to fight, too drained to leave, too exhausted to imagine starting over. I want you to really hear this. The way that person has been treating you, the way they've been speaking to you, the way they've been making you feel, none of that is your fault. But staying in that dynamic after you know better, that becomes a choice. And I know choice feels impossible when you're running on empty. I know leaving seems like a fantasy when you can barely get through the day. That's exactly why your energy is being restored first. That's exactly why your body is healing before everything else, because you need to be strong enough to make the moves you need to make. That's changing. As your body heals, as your energy returns, as your clarity sharpens, you're going to look at certain people in your life and finally see them clearly. The masks are coming off. Not your masks, they're masks. You're going to see who's really been in your corner and who's been pretending. You're going to see who genuinely wants you to win and who secretly hopes you stay exactly where you are. Some of these revelations are going to hurt. I won't pretend otherwise. Finding out that someone you trusted was actually working against you, discovering that someone you loved was hoping you'd fail, that cuts deep. But the pain of knowing is temporary. The pain of staying blind is forever, and you've been paying that forever price for too long. And here's the beautiful part. By the time this revelation hits, you're going to be strong enough to act on it. You're not going to have the same fear you had before. You're not going to have the same dependency, because God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, has been setting up your exit strategy. Your finances are shifting. Your options are expanding. Your confidence is rebuilding. So when it's time to walk away from what no longer serves you, you'll actually be able to do it. I need to address something that might feel uncomfortable, because part of stepping into your power means being honest about where you've been hiding. You've been camouflaging yourself, wearing different masks depending on who you're around, shrinking your personality to fit into spaces that were never meant for you, dimming your light because other people complained it was too bright, and the whole time you were suffocating. The whole time you were dying inside, because pretending to be someone you're not is exhausting work. It takes everything out of you, and you've been doing it for so long that you almost forgot who you actually are. Here's your permission slip. Stop hiding. Stop apologizing for taking up space. Stop making yourself smaller so other people feel comfortable. You were not designed for comfortable. You were designed for extraordinary, and extraordinary doesn't apologize. When you walk into a room, people should notice, not because you're loud or obnoxious, but because your energy announces itself, because your presence carries weight, because there's something about you that demands attention even when you're trying to blend in. That's not arrogance. That's your birthright, and it's time to reclaim it. The version of you that's emerging, the one that's being activated right now, doesn't need permission, doesn't need validation, doesn't need anyone to believe in them before they believe in themselves. This version of you knows exactly who they are, knows exactly what they're worth, knows exactly what they will and will not tolerate, and that knowing is magnetic. People are going to start treating you differently, and I want you to be prepared for that, because it might feel strange at first. You're used to being overlooked. You're used to being underestimated. You're used to people dismissing you or taking you for granted. When that suddenly stops, when people start showing up for you, respecting you, pursuing you, it might trigger something. You might feel like you don't deserve it. You might feel like it's too good to be true. Let that feeling pass through you. Don't hold on to it, because you do deserve it. You always deserved it. The only thing that changed is that you finally started emanating the energy that matches your true value, and the world is responding. Let me tell you about the abundance that's heading your way, because I know money has been a stress point. I know you've been scared to check your bank account. I know you've been operating from a place of lack, always worried about the next bill, always stressed about the next emergency. That scarcity mindset was part of how they kept you small, because when you're worried about survival, you don't have energy to thrive. When you're focused on just getting by, you can't see the bigger picture. Something is shifting in your finances. It might be a new opportunity. It might be an unexpected source of income. It might be a debt that gets resolved, or an approval you'd been denied before. Whatever form it takes, money is starting to flow toward you instead of away from you, and as that flow increases, everything else gets easier. Your choices expand. Your stress decreases. Your ability to invest in yourself grows. I'm seeing something specific. Some of you have been wanting to make a purchase. Maybe it's a car. Maybe it's a home. Maybe it's something you've been telling yourself you can't afford or don't deserve. You've got trauma around being told no. You've got PTSD from rejection. So you've been staying home, staying small, convincing yourself that wanting nice things makes you greedy or unrealistic. Let me tell you something about that trauma. Every time you were rejected in the past, every time someone said you weren't qualified or you didn't have enough or you weren't the right fit, it carved a groove in your brain, and that groove became a default pathway. Every time a new opportunity arose, your brain automatically routed you down that rejection groove. You started rejecting yourself before anyone else had the chance to. You became your own gatekeeper, keeping yourself out of rooms you deserve to be in. That pattern is breaking. Those grooves are being filled in, and new pathways are being created. Pathways that lead to approval. Pathways that lead to acceptance. Pathways that lead to yes. And I need you to be bold enough to test them. I need you to stop assuming the answer will be no, and actually show up to find out. That story is false, and you're about to get proof of that, because something you've been afraid to go after is about to be approved. That fear of walking into a dealership or a bank and being humiliated, that fear of everyone knowing you can't afford what you want, it's been keeping you stuck. But your circumstances have changed, your energy has changed, and when you step out in faith, you're going to be met with yes instead of no. I want to be clear about something. This isn't about materialism. This isn't about accumulating stuff for the sake of accumulating stuff. This is about you finally receiving what you've earned. This is about the universe correcting an imbalance that's been tipped against you for too long. You gave and gave and gave. You sacrificed and compromised and put everyone else first, and the return on that investment was delayed. But it wasn't cancelled. It's coming now, in a flood, in a rush, in amounts that will make you dizzy with gratitude. I want to talk about your purpose now, because I know that's been weighing on you too. You know you're meant for something bigger. You've always known, but somewhere along the way, you lost sight of what that something was. You got distracted by survival. You got detoured by drama. You got derailed by people and circumstances that had no business having that much power over your path. Your purpose is still there. It never left. It's been waiting for you to remember. And what's beautiful about this season you're entering is that your purpose is going to become crystal clear, not in some vague, mystical, figure-it-out-yourself way. In a practical, step-by-step, here's exactly what you need to do way. You're a hybrid. That's the best way I can describe it. You're not just one thing. You're not meant to fit into a single box. You're creative and strategic. You're spiritual and practical. You're sensitive and strong. And that combination, that unique blend of qualities that's made you feel like an outsider your whole life, that's actually your superpower. That's what makes you irreplaceable. Whatever you create, whether it's art or content or businesses or relationships, carries a signature that only you can provide. No one else can do what you do the way you do it. And the world is hungry for exactly what you have to offer. They just haven't seen it yet, because you've been hiding. But that's over now. I need to address those of you who have been praying for someone to come back. A specific person, maybe an ex, maybe a friend, maybe a family member who cut you off. You've been holding on to hope that they'll return, that they'll see your value, that they'll regret how they treated you. Here's what Spirit is showing me. That specific person might not be the answer, but someone with the same energy, maybe even the same name, is coming. A better version, a healthier version, a version that actually deserves what you have to offer. Stop clinging to what left. What's coming is so much better that you're going to thank them for leaving. Your heart has room for more than you've been given. Your capacity for love, for connection, for intimacy, it's been wasted on people who couldn't match it. That's changing. The people entering your life in this next season are going to meet you where you are. They're going to show up fully. They're going to add to your life instead of draining from it. And you're going to finally understand what it feels like to be genuinely supported. Now let me put you onto something real. Destiny Engine. I built this because I was done watching chosen ones get dragged through betrayal, isolation, and attacks while their enemies strutted around unchecked. I want to help you accelerate the speed of your divine justice and step fully into your purpose. And the beauty of it, you don't even have to lift a finger. Destiny Engine takes their downfall and flips it into your rise. This isn't another meditation app. It's declassified consciousness technology, the same mind programming tools your enemies once used to install fear, competition and scarcity, re-engineered to restore your sovereignty and align you with the cooperative, upgraded operating framework. It generates personalized sequences mapped to your divine purpose. The hardest thing you'll do is put on headphones, press play, and watch your enemies keep digging their own grave. The collective upgrade is underway. Start your destiny engine for $1 today and turn everything they did to break you into fuel for your rise. Link in the description. Let me tell you about the enemies, because I know you've been wondering if you're crazy, if you're paranoid, if the people you suspected of not having your best interests at heart were actually fine and you were just being dramatic. You weren't crazy, you weren't paranoid. Your intuition was accurate. There have been people in your life, some of them close to you, who did not want to see you succeed. Not because you did anything wrong to them, but because your success would threaten their narrative. Your rising would expose their stagnation. Your light would reveal their darkness. Some of these people have been actively working against you, talking behind your back, blocking opportunities, poisoning others against you, and some of them have been more subtle, offering help that comes with strings attached, giving advice designed to keep you small, supporting you just enough to maintain access, but never enough to actually help you grow. Both types are being exposed, not by you, not because you're going on some revenge mission, but because the truth has a way of surfacing when it's time, and it's time. The people who have been pretending are about to be revealed, and you're going to finally have confirmation that what you sensed was real. Here's what I want you to do with that confirmation. Nothing dramatic, nothing vengeful, just quiet, dignified distance. You don't have to announce your exit. You don't have to explain yourself. You just have to stop giving access to people who use it against you. Close those doors gently but firmly, and watch how much energy you suddenly have when you stop feeding people who were never full anyway. Your magic has been bound. I want you to understand that clearly. Whatever was holding you back, whatever was making you feel like your gifts weren't working, like your prayers weren't being answered, like your efforts weren't producing results, it was intentional. There was a force, call it what you want, that was specifically targeting your light, shielding you from your own power, tying you up so you couldn't access what was always yours. Think about how a fire gets smothered. You don't put it out by fighting the flames directly. You cut off its oxygen. You suffocate it slowly until there's nothing left but smoke. That's what was happening to you. Your oxygen was being restricted. Your fuel was being depleted, and the flame that used to burn so bright was reduced to an ember, barely holding on. But embers are deceptive. They look dead, they look finished. But apply the right conditions, give them just a little oxygen, and they explode back into flame, sometimes bigger than before, sometimes more intense than they ever were. That's what's happening to you right now. The conditions have shifted. The oxygen is flowing, and that ember inside you is catching fire again. That binding is breaking. Right now, as you read these words, the cords are being cut, the shields are being shattered, and what's rushing back into you is everything that was stolen. Your creativity, your confidence, your clarity, your connection to the divine. It's all flooding back, and it might feel overwhelming at first, like too much sensation after being numb for so long. Let it in anyway. Your system can handle it. You were built for this. Some of you have been wondering if you've lost your mind, hearing things, sensing things, knowing things you shouldn't be able to know. Your intuition has been screaming, but you've been trying to rationalize it away, trying to explain it with logic, trying to convince yourself that you're just being paranoid or emotional or dramatic. Stop that. Your intuition is your superpower. It's been trying to protect you this whole time, and now that your other senses are clearing up, that intuitive voice is about to get even louder, even clearer. even more accurate. Trust it. It hasn't steered you wrong. You just weren't always ready to listen. I want to tell you about someone who almost didn't make it. Someone whose darkness had consumed them to the point where everyone around them could see they were fading. But there was something inside them that refused to quit. Some stubborn spark that kept fighting even when everything logical said to give up. And because of that spark, because of that refusal to accept defeat, they survived long enough for the rescue to arrive. That person is you. You are still here, despite everything, despite the losses, despite the betrayals, despite the moments when ending the fight seemed easier than continuing it. You held on, and because you held on, you get to experience what comes next. I need you to really sit with that for a moment. You made it, against all odds, against all expectations, against the forces that were specifically assigned to take you out. You survived, and survival wasn't just about existing, it was about preserving your potential. Every day you kept going, you were protecting a future you couldn't even see yet. You were guarding a destiny that the darkness was trying to steal. You won that battle simply by not quitting. What comes next is the reward. What comes next is the restoration. What comes next is everything you've been praying for, showing up in ways bigger than you imagined. Not because you earned it through suffering, but because suffering was never supposed to be your story. Joy was always the destination. The detour just took longer than it should have. Your body is about to look different. Your face is going to change. The stress that's been aging you, the worry that's been weighing you down, it's going to lift and you're going to look younger, lighter, more vibrant. People are going to ask what you're doing differently, what product you're using, what diet you're on, and the answer is going to be simpler than they can accept. You're just finally free. Your finances are about to look different. That constant scramble, that perpetual stress, it's being replaced with stability, with surplus, with the ability to buy things you want, without spiraling into anxiety about whether you can afford them. Money is going to become a tool you use instead of a weapon used against you. Your relationships are about to look different. The people around you are going to upgrade, not because you're replacing everyone you know, but because your energy is going to naturally attract different caliber connections. You're going to have friends who actually show up, partners who actually value you, colleagues who actually respect you. And the contrast to what you had before is going to be staggering. But most importantly, your relationship with yourself is about to transform. That critical voice in your head, the one that's always telling you you're not good enough, not smart enough, not pretty enough, not deserving enough, that voice is getting quieter, and what's replacing it is compassion, understanding, even affection. You're going to start treating yourself the way you treat people you love, and that shift is going to change everything. I want to give you something to take with you, a truth to anchor to, when the old thoughts try to creep back in, when the doubt tries to reassert itself, when the fear tries to convince you that this message was too good to be true, and nothing is actually going to change. You are chosen, not in a way that makes you better than anyone else, but in a way that means you were specifically selected for this moment, for this purpose, for this transformation. The challenges you faced weren't random, they were preparation. The skills you developed weren't accidental, they were equipping. The pain you endured wasn't pointless, it was the price of admission to a future so brilliant it required you to be forged in fire first. Everything has been leading here, every tear, every sleepless night, every moment when you wondered if there was any point in continuing. It was all leading to this breakthrough, this rebirth, this emergence of who you were always meant to become. The next 7 to 10 days are going to be pivotal. I need you to stay open, stay aware, pay attention to the solutions that present themselves. They might come through conversations, they might come through content you encounter online, they might come through quiet, knowing that settles into your spirit when you're least expecting it. However they arrive, receive them, implement them. Trust that the simplicity of the answer doesn't diminish its power. Your breath is going to change, literally. You're going to start breathing differently, deeper, more intentional, and as you do, things are going to shift internally that create ripple effects in every area of your life. Don't underestimate the basics. Sometimes the most profound transformations come from the most fundamental adjustments. You're going to stop wanting the things you used to need to cope, the vices that got you through the darkness, the habits that numbed the pain. As your body heals, as your spirit lifts, the cravings for those crutches are going to diminish, not through willpower, not through white-knuckling your way to discipline, just naturally, because you won't need them anymore. What they were providing will be provided in healthier ways. I want to circle back to where we started, because I want you to understand the full scope of what's happening. You got people on the floor. That's not a prediction. That's a current reality. The transformation happening in you is so profound that it's going to create shockwaves in the lives of everyone around you. Some will be inspired, some will be threatened, some will finally see your value for the first time, and some will regret every moment they underestimated you. There is no ignoring you in this era. The days of being overlooked are finished. The days of being taken for granted are done. The days of being dismissed or disrespected or disregarded, they're ending so completely that you're going to almost forget they ever happened, because the person stepping into this next chapter bears no resemblance to the one who was stuck in the last. This is the best message I've ever delivered, not because of anything I did, but because of what you're ready to receive. The timing is perfect. The alignment is exact. Everything that needed to happen to prepare you for this moment has happened, and now finally you get to experience the payoff. Stand up again. Look at yourself, not at the version you've been seeing for the past year, the tired version, the heavy version, the defeated version. Look at the one underneath, the one that's been waiting, the one that knew this day would come, the one that refused to give up on the future even when the present seemed hopeless. That's who you really are. That's who you've always been, and that's who the world is about to meet. Welcome to your era, chosen one. It's been waiting for you. And so has everyone who's about to witness what happens when someone like you finally steps into their power. No more hiding, no more apologizing, no more shrinking to make others comfortable. This is your time. This is your season. This is your moment. Take a deep breath. Feel the shift. Feel the release. Feel the new beginning. And there is absolutely no ignoring you now.